Hello guys, Andrew Flint, manager of Burton Albion here. Just thought I'd drop by and just give you an update on how things are going for me anyway in Total Fusion Super League. Well, like I say, manager of Burton Albion. So when Rob said that was the club I'd have, I thought, well, I know nothing about them, to be honest. And that's kind of what I like out of a lot of game worlds. The squad are absolutely terrible. Marvin Sordell's pretty much the best player, and I can't even remember who my left back was. I think it was Lloyd Dyer. I think he was about 35 years old. So I thought, right, this needs a clear out. Now, usually I like to go for young squads and build them up, but I've completely broken my own rule there. And I have four players who are 40 years old or older. Oscar Perez in goal at 45. But you can't deny 27k for an 83 rated keeper in Division 4 is actually pretty good. But anyhow, yeah, so this game world for me I like game worlds that have a sense of realism about them. In other words, I like a mixture of game worlds. Some I like the clear squads, the empty squads, but I don't want too many of them because they can become the same if you only have empty squad game worlds. Whereas this, I actually had to be fairly creative, like everybody else has had to, with building a squad that I'm happy with. And I'm still not entirely happy with it at the moment. So it's a challenge. It's a long challenge, this one. And again, I like that. So I think for me, it's definitely going to be a long-term game world. And I like game worlds that are just simply run well. I don't come to game worlds for the same reasons as everybody else, I admit. I don't see it as a social network. It's not because I'm grumpy and antisocial, but just simply I don't have the time to devote to it like other people do. But I do appreciate that side of things makes a really successful game world. So anyway, I'll just give you a brief highlight of my squad anyway while we're here. My background, I live in Russia. I love Russian football and have followed it and written about it for about five years now. I've lived here for 9 years, so I know a lot of the Russian players, and that's often where I go to start with to look for bargains, or at least players that I know are due an upgrade in the ratings. That's actually been a frustration, though, of mine, because I know a lot of players who definitely deserve to go up 2, 3, 4 points in the ratings, but the Russian league is often ignored. So, highlights for me. I went with my heart and I brought back Andrei Arshavin. Everybody will have heard and remember Arshavin from his time at Arsenal and possibly Zenit St. Petersburg as well. But he is still playing at the age of 37 in Kazakhstan for Kairat Almaty. He recently just completed 100 appearances for the Kazakh club. I thought he would turn up for a few petrol dollars and just drift off into the sunset. But actually, he's really knuckled down. He's scored a lot of goals. He's 83 rated, so I've got him on the cheap. His value should hold because he's been playing so well. But I've also gone for some others. Konstantin Kuchayev at CSKA Moscow. He's 80 rated. He's injured at the moment. He's had a cruciate ligament injury in real life. So his rating possibly won't go up the next time, but after that should. He will be the fulcrum of CSKA Moscow's new young side. Ivan Ignatiev he's going to be a fantastic player. Krasnodar striker. You may have heard of Fyodor Smolov from the World Cup. He started the first game for Russia and he was very heavily linked with a move to West Ham in real life. But he's gone downhill in the last few months, partly because Artyom Dzyuba has taken over as the number one Russian striker. Smolov has lost his mojo. And Ignatiev is the youngster who is the hottest prospect out of Russia's best academy, which is the Krasnodar privately run club. So I'm high hopes for him. I've also got Christian Bistovic, who is an unknown Croatian until a few months ago. CSKA Moscow signed him. He's now a central midfielder. I think best players that I have in my squad, I'm kind of quite looking forward to seeing how... Hold on, where have my players gone? Quite looking forward to seeing how Gavin Bazunu does. Now, he's a 16-year-old Irish goalkeeper of Nigerian heritage. Thank you, Johnny McKenna, for tipping me off about him. He's signed for Manchester City in real life. He's only 67 rated, so I got him for 280k. Could potentially get a lot of rises out of him. So yeah, it's an interesting squad with a Russian influence in there. My season so far is going quite well. I've won half my games, 24 points in Division 4, 2 points off the playoffs as things stand. I am hoping for promotion. I haven't actually had many promotions in my time in Soccer Manager, but this is one where it would mean something because it's a well-run game world, very competitive, very full. So if I can earn progression out of Division 4, that would be fantastic. In terms of the game world itself, though, I take my hat off to anybody who runs a game world like this, because you need, firstly, to have enough respect of people to attract the right sort of managers who are not just going to bugger off and leave the game world and just let it fall into ruin. You need to have a bit of imagination to come up with rules that are not too wacky to scare people off, but are rigid enough to give it some structure. So for that reason, I like the fact that it's not flooded with money, that a lot of clubs still have to retain at least part of their squads, like I mentioned earlier. I think that makes it a really good game world. To be honest, I wouldn't leave Burton. I don't criticise people who want to change clubs, because there are a million different reasons why people may want to do that. For me, there isn't really a great deal of point in changing from Burton, because I've put quite a lot into building the squad so far, and it is a long way off being completed. If somebody else came in and took over this squad, I don't think they would really get a great deal of enjoyment out of it, because a lot of old players in there, and I want to clear them out eventually, and a lot of Russian players they probably won't know much about. But anyway, I'm going to stick with them. Well, that's it for me. Just in case, that's a little side note, this is a personal thing, and I'm sorry for spamming you on this, but like I mentioned, I write about football for a living, and if anybody else is on any level interested, whether you've written a word before or not about football, doesn't matter. If you're interested in writing about tactical analysis, player analysis, opinion partly, my new workplace, Ronnie Dog Media, has a portfolio of websites, about 15 to 20 websites, some club specific, some league specific, where we're always looking for new writers. So Keith Fitzsimmons already replied, and he has now joined the team, and he's already flying off the shelves. So we get about 3 million page views across them, but this is not clickbait stuff. The reason we get good numbers is because my boss, Chris, has focused on analysis. He's focused on SEO rankings and Google rankings, and he's really gone to town on it. It's a really professional outfit. We have editors, we have people of all levels of experience to back people up. And we communicate very well. It's a community of about 120 people. So in some ways, it's not dissimilar to Soccer Manager in the community sense. So I think a lot of it would appeal to you guys. So like I say, anybody who's interested in a writing opportunity, it could even lead to a career. Not that we're promising that, we don't, but it's a platform. Drop me a private message on Soccer Manager, and we'll get the ball rolling. Anyway, thanks for the update. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing what you guys are doing too. Bye-bye.